Hey there, it's Sarah from the No More Wasted Days podcast, and I'm coming at you today with a shorty episode all about using the art of distraction to battle your cravings. This topic is going to be so beneficial to you, and it's going beyond what we usually talk about when we think about managing our cravings when it comes to quitting drinking. And I know you may be thinking, okay, you're just going to use a distraction tool to get you away from a craving. Can that really help? And it can, because there's evidence out there that states alcohol cravings can last for just 3 to 5 minutes on average. And while they can feel super overwhelming in the moment, understanding this can empower you to pause, take a breath, and let the craving pass, because it always does. So stick around in this episode to learn the strategies that can help you outlast those cravings and reclaim your freedom on your alcohol-free journey. Before we dive all the way into this topic today, I want to tell you about something amazing that is coming. I am hosting my first ever Push to 100 alcohol-free challenge. I will be guiding you through your first 100 days of being alcohol-free. When you do this challenge with me, the first 30 days are going to be pretty intense. I'm not going to lie. You'll be provided with a video every day and an email from me every day. But so you don't get too overwhelmed on the journey, there will also be a private message thread so we can communicate with each other and all the other members of the Push to 100 the whole way through the journey. There's also going to be 2 group coaching calls every single month of the 100 days. After we get through those first 30 days together, I'm going to work you through 5 modules. Each module will last 2 weeks, and we'll be dealing with topics like going deeper into managing your cravings and triggers, like we're going to do in today's episode. We'll be diving into the idea of what really is addiction, why does it happen, what does it look like in your body, and I'll even be working with you on things like goal setting and setting new habits in place so you can move past these 100 days with success. And speaking of moving past the 100 days with success, when you sign up for the Push to 100 challenge, you're also given a 1-month access of the Daymakers community when the challenge is over, so you can keep that journey going. There is a link in the show notes where you can sign up for the waitlist for the Push to 100, and you will be one of the first people to be notified when enrollment opens. And the first 20 people to join will receive a 30-minute one-on-one coaching call with me. So it's super beneficial to be on that waitlist. So go get that done. Like everything else, you can do it while you're listening to this episode. Get into the show notes, click that link, get all signed up, and your welcome email to the waitlist will be sent to you as you're listening. Now, let's continue our conversation about cravings. First, I just want you to really understand what cravings are and why they happen before we dive into the strategies. So, cravings are an intense desire or urges to consume a substance such as alcohol. Remember, they can feel intense, they can feel strong. But when we really start understanding them, it gets a little easier. There are psychological roots with cravings that include habits and emotional triggers like stress and boredom, and for me, even happiness. And then there's conditioned responses to cues like places or people or routines that are just associated with drinking. When you really start to learn what all of these different roots and triggers are in yourself, it becomes so much easier to manage your cravings. There are also physiological roots. Those include the brain's reward system, where alcohol has altered dopamine pathways, and it's created a cycle of wanting to re-experience the pleasure of relief it provides. Alongside, there's withdrawal symptoms that will drive the urge, especially in your early days. So I want you to know that cravings are a normal part of the journey. If you're having them and you're feeling like, oh, I'm super weak, why is this happening to me? It is normal. There is nothing wrong with you, but what you can do is claim the power to be stronger than the craving. In today's episode, I'm going to teach you how to redirect the energy that's happening when you're having a craving to overcome that craving. It's going to help you shift the focus away from the urge and engage the brain in a new activity. And it disrupts the habitual response, and it helps to weaken the craving's intensity and duration. The more intentional you are with these distractions, the better it is. And all of the distractions that I'm going to tell you today are healthy options. So instead of doing something like consuming poison, you're going to be doing something that's healthy for you. It's going to take your mind off of consuming the alcohol, and you'll be engaged in something that's just overall better for your life. So to set you up for success, I'm going to go through various healthy distractions you can use when you're having a craving. I'm going to help you figure out how to choose the right distraction for you, and then I'll give you some quick tips for success. Here we go. Let's dive into those healthy distractions. So first on the list is a physical activity. When you feel the urge to drink, instead engage in a physical activity like walking, yoga, or even stretching. Notice none of these are hardcore. I didn't just tell you to go out and do a HIIT workout or run 5 miles. Instead, start where you're at. Put on a podcast, go take a walk, and all of a sudden, your brain will be off the idea to have a drink. One thing I would do early on in my journey, if I was doing a physical activity or doing a chore around the house, the podcast that I would choose to listen to distract me would be something about quitting drinking. That would make me feel empowered on my journey and make me remember that I'm stronger than alcohol. I can totally do this. Another healthy distraction option would be creative outlets. These can be journaling or drawing or trying a new hobby to shift your focus. One of my creative outlets in the beginning was playing the ukulele. I was a music teacher for 18 years, so doing something musical came naturally to me, but my husband also did this, and music was not something that was a regular hobby for him. So we learned it together through an app called the Musician app. It was super fun, and it was just a cool thing. It would always distract us, and it just made us feel good. It made us feel happy that we were creating something. Maybe it wasn't the best music that we were making, but it was something creative, and it was helping us move on from that craving that we had. Another thing that I still do today is I crochet. I did that when I was a drinker and before I was a drinker, but I will tell you, when I was a drinker, that kind of fell to the wayside for me because I was consumed with alcohol. I was consumed with my drinking. So now I actually crochet and create things, and it just feels so good. The next healthy distraction you can try is social connection. Call a friend, and if you're somebody who doesn't like to call people, then text a friend. Engage in a support group. We talk about the Daymakers community a lot on this podcast, and that can be an option. And even work in time to spend time with your family. If you have a craving and you live with other people, get those other people to go do something with you. Hey, will you go on a walk with me really quick? Hey, do you want to cook dinner together? Create that connection. There is a saying from AA that is, connection is the opposite of addiction. And it is so true. And the more sober people I have brought into my life, the stronger I feel in my sobriety path. Now, they also don't have to be sober people. I know I used that example, and I find that through online communities, but it can just be friends. I have reconnected with friends from college, friends from high school, all by sending them a text and saying, hey, how are you doing? And all of a sudden, the connection has been built. And it always distracts me from a craving if I'm having one. I don't have to specifically say I'm having a craving. Instead, I can just start texting my sister or texting my friend from college, and my mind is off of it. I have 2 more healthy distraction options for you. The next one is mindful tasks. So working on mindful practices has been a game changer for me. Meditation has changed my path, changed my life. It has helped me so much. I've made it a daily practice for me, but you can start small. Check out different apps where you can do guided meditations. I use the Unplug app, but you can also check out Calm or Headspace or Insight Timer, and I know there's a lot of other ones. Look up different deep breathing exercises you can do. You can do the box breath, which is breathing in for 4 counts, holding for 4 counts, exhaling for 4 counts, and then holding again for 4 counts. Do that on a repeated cycle when you have a craving. It will take your mind off the craving. It is a distraction for you. Or write down a quick gratitude list when you're having a craving. That's another way to shift your focus, put that distraction in place, and all of a sudden your mind is on something else. All right, the very last healthy distraction option I have for you is to engage in tasks. Organize a space, tackle a small to-do list, or cook a meal. We have so many things we need to get done in our life from day to day. So when a craving hits, do one of those things. Or if it hits and you're like, man, I just don't have anything to do right now, then Get out that junk drawer that you always say you're going to organize and sit there and organize the junk drawer while you listen to music or while you listen to a podcast about quitting drinking. This will be a valuable distraction for you, and you'll get something done, and it will make you feel purposeful. It'll make you feel happy that you got that chore done, and the craving will be gone. So how do you choose the right distraction for you? Because I just went through 5 different options for you. And within each of those options, I gave a lot of different examples. So you may be feeling like, oh my gosh, this is almost too much. I feel overwhelmed now. So what's the right option for you? I want to encourage you to identify what works best for you. I want you to think of your interests. So if I was listing off crocheting and you were like, I hate crafts like that, then that is not your thing. Don't go do it because I said you should try it. Instead say, I don't like crocheting, but I did always like drawing. Well, go back to that then. Go buy yourself a nice drawing pad and start doodling in there and see what it turns into. Or when I mentioned walking, if you're like, that sounds terrible, but then I mentioned yoga and you thought, that sounds like a good fit for me, then try that. Yoga for me sounds like something I don't want to do. It's not a thing that I really, really enjoy, but I do really enjoy walking. I just want you to really be intentional and pick the right distraction for you. The other thing you can do is start writing down a distraction list. Keep it handy for moments when a craving hits. On there, you can have the list of everything you want to try. And when you are having a craving, you can go down that list and see things you want to try doing or things around the house that need to get done. Pick one of those things, go do it, distract yourself for only 3 to 5 minutes, and that craving will most likely pass. I just want you to remember that it's really important to experiment too. If you try a distraction technique and you hate it, then that's not for you, and that's okay. It's just a part of the getting to know you process on your alcohol-free journey. So make that distraction list, and if there's ones you love, keep those on the list. And if there's ones that you do that you hate, cross them off. Lastly, I want to leave you with some quick tips for success. I want you to be prepared and have the tools you need to participate in the activities that you're going to do if you're feeling distracted. If you were listening and you're like, okay, I'm going to do the walking thing, but you're like, oh, I don't really have a pair of walking shoes, then go invest in a pair of walking shoes. You're saving money by not drinking. Go congratulate yourself, get yourself a new pair of shoes, and get out there and start walking. Same with doing any of the crafts that I mentioned. Figure out what you might need to do those, head to a craft store and get a few things so you're ready when temptation hits. You're going to do your distraction and you're going to be ready. Another thing you can do when a craving hits is to set a time frame for the distraction. Now, I know I mentioned that a craving only lasts 3 to 5 minutes, but I want you to set this time frame to be a little bit longer. In the beginning, say, I'm going to do this thing for 20 minutes to wait out the craving. So when the craving hits, I'm going to go on a walk for 20 minutes. When the craving hits, I'm going to sit down and organize a drawer for 20 minutes. Set that time frame for yourself, and when a craving hits, even set a timer and get to work doing the thing. The very last tip that I want to leave you with for this to be successful is to reflect on how the distraction helped. Once you try out a distraction method, when you get back into your regular life path, think to yourself, did the craving pass? Did I enjoy this task? Did I get lost in this task and have a great time? Those are really good things to ask yourself. Or did I hate this task? Really reflect and adjust as you need to do. I really hope that this information was helpful for you, and I hope that the next time a craving hits, you're going to use the art of distraction to get you through that craving. I want you to remember that cravings are natural. They don't make you weak. They don't make you somebody who's not going to make it through your alcohol-free journey. They're just a natural part of the process, and healthy distractions are a powerful tool to overcome them. Right when you're done listening to this episode, I want you to sit down and start creating your distraction list so you're armed and ready with those list of activities you can do during your next craving. And the last thing I want to leave you with is a reminder to go check out the link for the waitlist for the Push to 100. Remember, the doors will open to my waitlist members on December 16th, 2024. So if you're on that waitlist, you're going to be one of the first ones to get the link to go sign up. And the first 20 people who sign up will get a 30-minute one-on-one coaching session with me. Thank you so much for listening to this episode. And if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to the podcast and leave us a review. And as always, check out the links in the show notes so you can be set up with all the tools you need for success. All right, I'll be in your ear next week.